Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Howdy, everybody. How are you guys doing? Today, I am Austin. I am joined by Ninja Rider. Ninja, how are you doing?
Yeah, I was feeling a little ill earlier this weekend, but it seems I've recovered. Apparently, all this California sunshine is toxic.
Move to Texas. We don't have toxicity here.
It's just straight sunshine?
Straight sun. Great sun.
Nice.
With a little bit of a cowboyness.
I'm okay with that.
All right, howdy. How are you doing?
Howdy, ho!
Howdy, ho!
All right, let's go.
All right. After Mexico, I completely lost my train of thought right there, but after Mexico, somebody pulled out the win over ACR Raven, and he pulled the championship fight to here. And it's 20 points now, I believe.
It's 20 points now, yeah.
It is 20 points. Separates the leader of ACR Raven and some idiot. The Constructors Championship's already settled, so we're just going to fling that one under the rug right now. We're all focused between the Williams of some idiot and the Ferrari of ACR Raven. Who will get the top spots today in Interlagos?
I mean, and it really could go to anyone. I mean, we saw that last weekend. We honestly thought that Raven was going to take it, and then out of nowhere, some idiots just pulled out a ton of speed and just put his head down, got it done.
It was also a strategy choice by some idiot as well.
Yes, that's true.
With Raven going for the two-stop.
Yeah, Raven elected to go with the two-stop, and it didn't quite work out for him, and that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. But Raven, you have to try something a little different than your competitors, and Raven was the one to give that a try, and didn't quite work out for him. He does have that 20-point gap to play with, though, and
he needs
it's all going to come down to how some idiot will finish.
Yeah, he needs a 5-point advantage over some idiot, so it's going to be a very interesting one, but knowing Raven and some idiot, they'll be battling out for the lead. So if Raven wins the race, he wins the championship. If we're just judging by the normal running order of 1-2 with these guys, because I rarely seen them finish in anywhere else, honestly.
Right. Yeah, and farther down the championship order, things are a little bit more shaken up. I mean, really, pretty much 7th through 11th is all up for grabs. Yeah, Muddy Water and Max KZR Racing. Jollyduns mixed in there. Intergalactic Gentleman also mixed in there. It's more or less settled, other than the top 2, at least in my opinion. But you never know what's going to happen at these races, and Interlagos is one of those tracks which can reach out and bite you if you don't quite have the setup just right. It's really easy to spin out here, so you got to be very careful, especially coming through that middle sector with all the windy bits.
I was given a little bit of insider information from some idiot about some weather, and I'm actually going to pull up that strategy right now. He said, rain right at the end of this race, so in around the last 6 laps, we might be seeing some rain. So that will throw everything on its head. Speaking of on its head, qualifying is going on right now, so let's head onto track for qualifying.
And already Triton has taken the lead with a 107.618. Decently fast. The Tritonites would be proud of that for sure.
Other notable drivers.
Yeah.
You're saying?
I was going to say, he's sitting in the pits right now, so Still plenty of time left, though. 12 and about 13 minutes, I should say. Don't really know exactly where everybody's going to kind of pan out.
Yeah,
but
I'm currently on
our
board.
fastest guys have not actually set a lap time. Raven, Some Idiot, and Fluffy Dave. No time yet.
Some Idiot just coming across the line right now, so we'll see where he goes off. And he goes pole. The 107.519. 1/10 faster than Triton. Now, Raven's just doing a few side laps like he usually does on the medium tires. So, getting a little bit of race pace simulation going on right now, since most of the tire strategies right now are including the medium tires. The super soft to the medium tires on lap 8, or the soft to the medium tires on lap 12 or 15. But you can also do the medium to the soft tire as well.
Personally, if this particular formula actually allowed you to change your tires, I would go with the mediums first, just to last as long as you can, and then break out some fast laps at the end when the car is nice and light, personally. But you don't really have that luxury. You do have to start the race on the tires you qualified on. So Raven will be coming in, getting some other tires. He's about to complete a lap right now, though.
Yes, he is. Nope. Yes. That pit lane confuses me so much. Brazil, home to one of the weirdest pit lanes, and Raven goes up into P4, but remember, those are on the medium tires. And with 11 minutes left, we are not in crunch time yet. Crunch time starts around 2 minutes to go, and that's when everyone pulls all the guns and stops out.
But already we're starting to see some very close qualifying times like we saw earlier today, or this evening, depending on where you're at. The top 4, 5, actually within a second of each other. And you experienced that a little bit earlier today, Austin.
Oh, yeah. I experienced the entire top 10, the entire field, all within a second of each other, 7/10 to be exact. And then the leader were separated by 1/1000th of a second.
That's what it's going to come down to. This track does offer some very tight racing. It's going to require a lot of careful thought on where to attack. There are plenty of chances to attack, though. This is one of those passing tracks. I love this track. I say that about all our tracks, though.
There are a few tracks where I don't really like. This one, it is a passing track, but if you're very wise at defending, you can make your car as wide as you want and just cause a giant blockade on this track. It's just all about positioning your car. Speaking of positioning, Intergalactic Gentleman coming up to one of the biggest overtaking points on this track. If you position your car onto the inside line right there, it's going to be very hard for cars to try to overtake you around the outside because of that long left-hander. Same with this corner. If you just put your car on the inside, it's going to be very hard because all these turns are super long. Even if they're fast or slow, they're incredibly long turns.
Yeah, you do have to be very easy on the wheel. It's going to require a gentle touch, as well as some throttle/brake manipulation to just make the car go around the track properly. In multi-class racing, we see a lot of outside passes, but it's usually the faster classes, passing the slower classes on the outside, just because it's easier to allow the slower classes to take the line that they prefer and just get around the track safely more than anything else. And there is some parity in this particular league where the slower guys could potentially get in the way of the faster guys. It all comes down to the decision-making of these drivers, and that will be tested today.
We've seen it happen in a few races already where a lapped car has gotten involved in the fight for the lead. Not going to point any fingers and say who, but it has happened, and with the closing laps being said under rain, it's looking like it's going to be a dash out for the sprint, and who can handle the car the best in wet, tricky conditions.
That's correct, yeah. And this particular track does offer itself to wet conditions in general. You do have to brake earlier and do all the normal stuff for wet conditions, but because there are quite a few slower corners that you can kind of pick your way around, it's usually not too bad. You do kind of need to set your car up to where the back end has a little more grip than you're probably normally used to, so you do drive a little differently in the dry. It all depends on when that wetness will come exactly, if it ever does.
I have information saying it's going to come in around lap 30. I don't think it's going to cause a big chink at the race, like force people off the tires, but you never know with this. Could come in like a drizzle like we've seen at the end of was it Japan, I believe, in Russia, I believe.
It's Russia, yeah.
Yeah, where it didn't say that, but I think it might have a little bit of impact where there might be some intermediate tires popping out near the end of this race.
And that's where these drivers' skill will come into play. You know, you do kind of want to stick to the dry line as much as you can, but that will overheat those particular tires to a certain point. And at that point, you're actually going to see cars go off of the racing line and use the wet parts of the track to actually cool those tires out as Triton grabs the lead.
Triton spending 2 laps on these super soft tires and is actually just taking his own line through the set of S's. But yeah, I guess he was just like, yes, it got pole. 1/10 ahead of some idiot who's just now coming across the line, but I believe he's starting his flying lap. Or that was invalidated.
Possibly
Nope. He did improve on his time, but only by 2/200ths of a second. Some idiot, second place in the championship, 20 points down, won the last race, has to be ahead of Raven, who Raven, the championship leader, only has to finish 5 points ahead of some idiot to clinch the championship. And as these guys have been running 1-2 this entire time, I can tell you that this is make it simple. Some idiot has to win, and Raven has to win for the championship to be decided. Raven needs to win for him to win the championship. Some idiot needs to win for it to go to Abu Dhabi.
Correct. Pretty much, yes.
Yes.
We won't do the caster math here live. Unfortunately, we didn't quite think about that. But essentially, that's what it comes down to. And Raven can do it. He can do it. It's a matter of he'll be able to execute that here at... I mean, let's face it, this is a pretty tough track. And if you don't have that car set up the way that you would normally like it to be, it's going to get even tougher. Especially because Triton is now showing a lot of speed. He can really throw a monkey wrench into this.
Triton, definitely one of those cars to show... Okay, I don't even know why I switched to him. Definitely one to throw monkey wrenches, because this championship is full of monkey wrenches. We got Fluffy Dave, constant third place. Triton, a big third place. Z3 Mikey, a massive third place that we've seen. Also, let's not count out some of our Argentinian drivers. Ocampo, Tezu, Mancu, all the ooze. Heineken as well has been known to throw a car very fast around this track. Everyone looking very close in the top 7, all within a second of each other. So everyone just trying to be as good as we're watching ACR Raven on his hot lap right now. And he's going to take us around a lap of Interlagos.
Coming down the Reta Oposta into Descida del Lago, or do Lago, I should say. This is Portuguese. So turn 4 and 5, a sweeper here that heads you into this very complex section. Off the gas, shift down a little bit, just a dab of brakes just to plant the car and hard on it. Around 6, 7. Actually, I take it back. This is 8 and 9. We're coming up here on turn 10, Bico de Pato, as it's known. And then the sweeping turn 11, Italy forces stay to the inside. Oh, a little sideways. Good save. But he takes out the brake marker. That's going to invalidate that lap for Raven. Still some time here. No need to go crazy.
With 4 minutes left, Raven desperately... Yeah, he's going to the pits. He's going to he's going to get one more set of tires and head out on here. But that was... it's a bit frisky of a finish.
A little bit, but there was a
slow car right there. Just put himself in the wrong position. But that is very disastrous for Raven. Thankfully, he kept his car in one piece and got back into the pits without so much drama. But what are just the odds of us just doing the hot lap and that happening?
Well, I mean, the odds are extremely low, and honestly, it's just a kind of a weird set of circumstances there, but nothing to get really angry about or anything like that. Still plenty of time for him to come out. He can come out and do a sight lap again and then pop back out. Of course, he might play the game that some idiot usually plays. Of course, some idiot already out on the track on his out lap.
Oh, I want to say something. Look at Raven. He's put on the soft tires in his pit garage. He's going to try to go for his flying lap on the softs and try to start on the softs for his little advantage at at the start, as Goodbye Bicep has had a collision with Tezu and picked up a 5th-place grid penalty, and he's in the gravel off of turns out of Descida del Lago. I was going to stick with the numbers because I really can't speak Portuguese.
Yeah, Portuguese is a little bit different than what we're used to.
Oh, and Goodbye parked his car on the apex, just on the very out, and he was just nailed by Jaludon. Jaludon, who's not slowed down at all. He's still continuing that, but there was a bit of contact between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo.
I've been taking a look at Some Idiot just to see what he's doing here. As Raven has come out on his outlap. Triton still looking pretty tough there at the top end. Some Idiot has not been able to respond quite yet.
Yeah, Some Idiot only response was just shaving 0.02 of a second off of his time. And Triton, that lap in Triton's hand is looking very, very good right now. Raven on the soft tire, I'll be surprised if I don't think he'll be able to improve his time on those softs since he set that first lap on his super soft tires. So Raven might be starting from back in the field. Somebody coming out of turns 12 and 13 has a little bit of traffic ahead in that Alfa Romeo. Is going to get a nice, good old toll. He's going to get definitely going to get pulled up there. That's Italy Force ahead. Triton improves this time. Some Idiot comes across the line, and Some Idiot does not take pole.
Oh, man. Barely.
And now all eyes are on Raven. But it's Triton ahead of Some Idiot by 0.03 of a second. Fluffy Dave in third. Raven down in sixth. Championship leader needs to win this race.
Ooh, Raven's getting a little happy with the right foot there.
He knows what's at stake. He's on the lower gripping compound right now. If he improves his time, he will be starting on the soft tires. And that's a move all up to him as he's coming down the front straight. Will Raven improve on his time, or will he let go? Raven starting on the soft tires, jumps it up into 4th place, but behind Fluffy Dave. Speaking of Fluffy Dave, he's on his in-lap. Never mind. What about Creamy John's, ACR Raven's teammate?
I'm still having a look here at Some Idiot. He's about to come down the front stretch right now. Oh, no, he dived into the pits. Okay. Never mind. He's done.
Yeah, knowing Some Idiot, he doesn't want to take unnecessary risk and wear out those tires more because those tires go into the pits at lap 8. So on lap 9, you'll see all the guys jump into the pits. We're on board with Creamy John. See if Creamy has anything to say. Will he be starting ahead of his teammate of Raven? No. Does not get any improvement. Heineken.
Raven's about to hit the start line right now.
He's going for another lap. Raven jumps up into P3.
That's exactly what he needed to do. He was going to start behind Triton, hope that Triton gets a decent start. He'll be able to overtake Some Idiot going in potentially into the first corner. We'll have to see as this race begins, but still some qualifiers out there. We were talking about Heineken here for a second.
Well, Heineken's going to the pits. So I'm just trying to see anyone else, but no, that is the entire race. So all eyes are on P2 and 3. 5 points separates Raven from him and the inaugural America's title. And a win separates Some Idiot from another day breathing down Raven's neck. Will this go on to Abu Dhabi, or will this be settled in Brazil? Stay tuned for more. Well, hopefully you guys stay tuned, because this is exciting stuff right here.
Good outro, by the way.
I know.
Really? Did you just Han Solo me?
Yeah.
Wow.
We are waiting for the results to pop up. Here are your results after qualifying. It's Triton taking pole with Some Idiot also on the first row, with Raven in third, followed by Fluffy Dave, Freebie Johns, Jalidun, Heineken, Max KZR Racing, Ocampu, C3 Mikey, Tezu, K Jr., Natarium, James McGrath, Goodbye, who has a 5-place grid penalty, Mancu, Intergalactic Gentleman, Italy Force, Lundquist Bro, and Pranky at the end. We'll join you guys on the formation lap after these messages. All right, after a crazy qualifying session, I'm honestly hashtag AOR hyped for this race.
That's right, guys. Get on Twitter, promote the stream, say hi, hashtag AOR Hype, to let everyone know that you are watching and enjoying such excellent racing here tonight. For some reason, this is taking a little bit to load in, but honestly, this championship is all lit up around pretty much all over the place, and we're just about to start the formation lap. This is different. Triton starting on pole with some idiot and Raven behind him. Fluffy Dave and Creamy John's actually making up the top 5. I can't wait for this one. It's all going to come down to if Triton can hold that pole position for at least the first couple of laps.
Yeah, also very interesting and key. Raven starting on the soft tire. He will have the advantage in the opening stints. Can he pull out enough of a gap to jump some idiot with this tire choice? Is this a blessing in disguise for Raven? But
well, the other question to that is, just to kind of interject a little bit, is can he keep Fluffy Dave and Creamy Johns behind him at the same time? I think that's going to be a better question because he will be on the slower tire. He's going to have to just be careful without spinning up tire or even locking up.
And with the rain at the end of this race, will there be any need for intermediate tires?
It all comes down to how hard it rains. This place drains pretty good. It should dry out fairly fast. We'll have to see as the race wears on.
It's looking a bit cloudy in the sky already, so it should... We are in for one heck of a show, I must say. As these guys... Yeah. As the Americans League is about to close in at the end of their season, everyone's lining up for round 20 of 21. It's about to get good.
Turn 1 going to be super important here.
The Senate S is always perfect importance as we have like 6 cars just waiting to line up on the back of the grid. A little bit of a stall from everyone else. Tires cooling down. That is not going to pull out in anyone's favor. We're going to keep our cameras on Fluffy Dave right here as it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights and away they go here in Brazil.
Keep your eyes on that front row. Oh, they're still side by side going through the
Fluffy Dave's been contact. There's contact. Fluffy Dave is sideways.
Fluffy Dave is out of the race, but some idiot has sprung into the lead. Triton slots into 3rd place. Raven on the soft tire grabs 2nd place, and everybody's kind of lined up a little bit. They're still kind of shuffling there in the backfield.
They're going 3 wide down the straight, but some idiot and Raven, the fight that we've all wanted to see, the fight that we've been watching this entire time, the fight that's important for the championship lead, is going off right now.
Triton holding station, though. He's decently close. Just going to try to keep Raven in his sights as much as he can. He needs to get past him if he wants to put that Haas anywhere near the podium, I have a feeling, because Creamy John's Jollyden really looking to make advantage here as they have moved up positions as well.
And all the pace decides on these first opening laps before DRS is open, and that's what some idiot's doing. He's already half a second ahead of Raven on those super soft tires, making them work, making them count as he sets the first lap. But these straights are going to come into play with Triton as he's almost colliding into the back of Raven in the S's.
I think Triton kind of smells a little blood here. He wants to make this pass, make everyone know that he does belong at the top of this field, and he's doing a fantastic job of it right now. Do kind of feel bad for Fluffy Dave. He finds himself in 19th place. He's going to have a heck of a run in front of him to try to catch up here.
Yeah, he got hit in the back and was spun around. I am not sure on who hit him, but we were on board with Fluffy Dave when he was spun in the opening quarters. He was giving us a little bit of camera eye action of what was happening at the front of the field. But Triton falling down to third definitely wants to regain his top of the position crown, which I honestly believe if Raven didn't have that unfortunate incident during qualifying, this would be a completely different story.
I would have to agree with you to a point. I mean, Triton showing a ton of speed right now. He's holding station on Raven. Raven's setting the fastest lap at this particular moment, not by much, but it's there. As now DRS is enabled, that's going to allow both Raven and Triton to catch up to some idiot. As DRS comes flying open down this little back straight, something I like to call it the back straight. It's more or less.
Oh, retirement's all over the field. Natarium has crashed out, as well as James McGrath. Not sure if that's going to cause any safety car issues, but Triton almost around the outside of Raven. I guess he just missed his brake force. His brakes overheated, but did not have any brake force on the back of Triton coming into turn 8, and he just went straight on and almost torpedoed him to the side, and Lundqvist Bros off. Well, Lundqvist Bro just dropped down like 5 different places, so I'm not sure what has happened to him.
Might have just had to pull to the outside. The brake's getting a little bit crazy on him. It's a good idea. Just get out of the way. Don't try to end anyone's race. Lundqvist Bro usually a very, very good racer like that. May not be the fastest guy out there, but he's very respectful. Looks like there's some Dyson here. Jallydon, Creamy Johns, Dyson up going into the Senna S. Jallydon takes 4th place from Creamy Johns. And now DRS is open. Jallydon dives to the inside. It'll be Creamy Johns trying to make the pass around the outside. He's dragging one more with him. Heineken right there. They're still holding station.
Jallydon is not the disadvantage right now. As Creamy Johns, got the doors slammed on him. As the pit stop strategy comes up for us, these super soft tires will last around to lap 10. Honestly, our data is showing 8, but that is old info, honestly. These guys are known for extending these tire life.
Yeah. They can easily get another 2 laps out of it, especially if Raven is nice and easy on the pedals. He's usually pretty good about making those tires last a little bit longer. Some idiot the same way. So Raven possibly going to near halfway point just on these soft tires. You might go soft if you can make it work. But Jallydon starting to try to run away here with 3rd place.
Speaking of running away, the top 3 are definitely running away with this. And we're going to rejoin the top 3 of Raven and some idiot the battle for the lead of this race.
Ooh, Raven.
Still alive and well.
Raven looking like he wants to make a move. He's just filling the mirrors at this point, pulling the Mario Andretti move, I should say. Michael Andretti kind of did the same thing, but not nearly as good as his father, let's face it.
Agreed.
That said, Raven definitely taking some notes here. He knows he's not quite as fast as some idiot, especially if some idiot decides to crank it up. And some idiot does have his ERS turned down a little bit. He's just kind of holding station at this point, trying to recharge as much as he can. There's a car sideways. Raven nearly clipping him. I think that was Italy Force. He's having a very hard time right now.
That was Italy Force, who was spun all around. That's why that yellow flag was in sector 3. But look at Raven. He's got the run. He's got the speed up the inside with the DRS. Some idiot out of any position to defend. And Raven takes the lead with Force right there. And now some idiot is on the back foot and needing to get back at his championship rival. But Raven on the soft tire has all the advantage in the world, and it's going. And somebody needs to get ahead of Raven as hard as he can right now.
Somebody has had the ERS turned down quite a bit. since about lap 2 or 3, I should say, as Raven definitely does need to find some space here, doesn't want to get undercut by some idiot. And of course, with Raven being in the lead, it's the best way to do that, of course, as Triton is just kind of sitting back and watching, basically keeping these two honest, as Raven locks up again going into turn 10.
Yeah, coming into turn 12, Italy Force's car is not there to give us all a little bit of a fright. Especially me, my heart did a little bit of a jump right there, but Raven leading out some idiot. Some idiot needed to pit before Raven, so some idiot not really getting onto the gas as hard as Raven did coming out that front straight, but I think some idiot is just going to try to keep with Raven as much as he can to see if he can get him over in the pit stop area and might go for that undercut, even they're on two different strategies.
Tezu and Ocampo has been fighting pretty much since the beginning of the race. We haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to him, but Tezu just made a pass on his teammate.
Oh, Lundqvist Bro is out of this race. Sectors 1, 2, and 3. Yellow flag, I believe we're about to go under a safety car very soon.
No, it looks like it. For now.
For now, I thought we were, because the entire course is under yellow flag. That'd be very surprising if it was under retirement, but no. I believe the safety car is going to stay in its course, and since that was in a part where the track was not occupied. And Lundqvist Bro has left the session, obviously frustrated from that.
Somebody else spun off the track coming on to the front stretch.
That's Max Casey Racing.
That's Max.
Yep, that is Max, spun off the track. Triton picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Fluffy Dave! Oh, no, that is, Fluffy Dave. No, wait. That's Fluffy Dave. Okay, I was just confused for a bit. Oh my goodness, Ocampo, Z3 Mikey, and KG and Fluffy Dave, massive 4-car collision at the start.
Oh, no.
And Fluffy Dave, is he out? Oh my goodness. Z3 Mikey, 5-second stop go penalty, severe collision with Kenyon Jr. Z3 Mikey's Renault is spun all the way around. There are carbon fiber all over the place. What has happened at the start of this race?
Fluffy Dave tried to make a move. I think that was...
No, I was on board with Fluffy Dave right there. It was a Campu, Z3 Mikey, and Kane Jr. They're going 3 wide through the Curva del Sol. It was a bit of banging. I think Kane Jr. got a bit wide and got into Z3 Mikey, who came across the track and smacked into one of the other cars, and then Fluffy Dave was just unfortunately collected up in that incident.
Well, it looks like Fluffy Dave has made the move into 10th place, and his car seems to be handling okay. Locking up just a little bit. He's probably lost a couple of winglets and things, but that's about it. He should be able to march on through the field. Made his way up to 10th.
On board with Creamy Johns.
I take that back. Fluffy Dave into the pits. Sorry.
Yeah, he needs to fix his wing because he was obviously frustrated for that. I thought Creamy Johns was about to make a move on Jalida, and he was having the run on him. Campu gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as Raven and some idiot still lead out this race, but they're kind of separated right now. But what a incident at the start. That is going to be reviewed. I am so happy I switched to Fluffy Dave at that moment.
And I just switched away as well. Dang. Fluffy Dave, though, came into the pits. He grabbed his medium tires. I believe you said that the pit strategy was about 9 laps.
Yeah.
So this makes sense.
It's a bit early.
Might be able to do it, though.
Since you can extend the tire life a lot. So it's a bit early, but knowing Fluffy Dave, he can take it very easy, as Parmejans and Jaladan are battling it out for P4. You can never predict what's going to happen in the Americas League, I can tell you that.
No, you really can, and that's why we kind of stopped making predictions a few rounds in.
We asked for the book on what to expect in an F1 race. Yeah, that thing gets written over every time this league happens.
We pretty much just chucked it into the trash.
Paper shredder, more like it.
Well, you know.
Put it in recycling. Come on, think about the environment.
It's paper. It's biodegradable. What does it matter?
Yeah, put it into recycling.
What? No.
Yes.
Oh, it's toxic ink. Can't do that.
Toxic ink.
No, you?
I don't have the tally up right now, so I can't add it.
Right? I think we're at about 13.
I think we're at like 1,000 right now or something.
We're going to have to get someone to add in the Nightbot command, but I have been watching Creamy Johns chase down Jollyden here. Heineken looking a little bit threatening in the background as well. This is the battle for 4th place. And it seems like Creamy Johns is...
Oh, just picked up a 3-second time penalty for crossing over the S's, and Ocampo's out of this race.
Now, he took damage, remember?
Yeah, he
may not
did.
be able to repair that.
Well, that was a yellow flag, so I think that might have been a crash. Going to ride on board with Creamy Johns. See if we can spot Ocampo's car, and there it is. Yep, he hit the wall. Out of the exit of turn 5, and into the wall he goes. And Triton might be looking to make a move on some idiot. Triton has closed down. The Tritonites are rejoicing right now, cheering on their favorite driver, seeing if he can get a jump on some idiot and disrupt the championship battle.
Triton thought he might make a move coming into turn 14 and there, but not quite.
Some idiot's going into the pit lane.
Okay. All right, 12 laps for the Super Softs for some idiot. Take it back 11 laps, sorry. So we have to expect that pretty much everyone else is going to be jumping into the pits as well. Heineken stays out. Jollyden obviously has stayed out. Triton's still out there. And I'll be honest with you, Triton is still looking pretty steady. He's not catching Raven or anything, but those tires are definitely holding up fairly well. The back end getting a little squirrely there. He's going to obviously try to gap some idiot as much as he can, but we'll see what he can do. Makes his way around
coming out of the pits right ahead of Interlagos Gentleman, and Goodbye Biceps. Well, it's just known as Goodbye right now, but some idiot coming out in 6th place on these medium tires with more than half the race distance to go.
I think he'll be okay.
It's going to be a road trip for him.
A little bit, but he'll find the rhythm and just keep an eye on everything, and he'll do what he does. It's really going to come down to whenever ACR Raven decides to come in. Interval. Some idiot has just about a 23-second gap to the leader. Our second place runner comes into the pits, Triton. Time for a tire change for him.
Triton in the Haas coming into the pits right now. His pit lane's far longer of lines later in the field, as I believe that is Jollyden also coming into pits, and Heineken and Tezu as well. There goes Triton out of the pit lane. Will he be ahead of some idiot?
Some idiot coming around the Senna S's right now.
Triton coming out of the pits right now. It's good.
Oh, there it
goes. Not gonna be close. Oh, no, I actually take that back. That was pretty close. Somebody and Triton both come out in pretty order, but the Raven is 22 seconds ahead of some idiot.
Yeah, that's plenty of time to secure the lead once Raven decides he needs to come in. Now, if I remember correctly, you said another 4 or 5 laps for those softs?
I'd say another 3 to 4 laps.
Okay.
3 to 5.
And this is the time for Raven to start just pounding the pavement, putting in as fast of the laps as he can. He's got that car cranked up all the way, ERS cranked.
Yeah, Raven definitely pushing through the S's. He has a lap car ahead of him of Max KZR Racing, so he's going to be using him as a bit of a tow. But he's not within a second of that lap car, but just has a few cars to navigate for clear air. But we saw what happened in qualifying, where Raven got in front of a few cars as Italy Forces retired from the session. And I believe that is another car to add to the car graveyard here in Interlagos.
Yep, 5 cars already, only 14 laps in.
Is this going to be a repeat of Baku where only like 10 cars finished?
I don't think so. I mean, this track is definitely challenging, and if you're not up to you don't feel like you're up to par, it's kind of wise to maybe call it a day.
You know, when we were saying that Raven's pulling away, like he's pushing as hard as he can. Oh, Intergalactic Gentleman's out.
Oh, no.
Raven is losing time to some idiot.
Yeah, that doesn't quite surprise me, though. I mean, these softs are starting to wear out, and Raven probably just wants to manage the gap more than anything else. So it kind of makes sense.
Well, Raven needs to keep his pedal in the middle and focus on his tires. He's got one more lap, I believe so, on these things, but that gap is falling down, and some idiot might actually pull out a undercut on Raven, so we might see something happen, as there's a lot of carbon fiber at the start of Sector 2, really. As Jalidun and Goodbye Bicep side by side in front of the Senate, as Jalidun jumps ahead for P4.
Jalidun on the fresher tires, Goodbye Biceps knowing he's on the worn out softs. Goodbye's going to have to come in right about when Raven comes in, I think. And Goodbye, under pressure from Creamy Johns now, swings way wide. He's got no control on this car. Well, very little, I should say, but he's hanging on. Just trying to keep 5th place at this point. Creamy Johns really needs to get by him, though. He's getting held up bad. Oh, diving to the inside.
Oh, there was no door open there for Creamy Johns. He's chasing Goodbye as Ravens jumped into the pits.
Okay, so we got to keep an eye on some idiot.
As Creamy Jaws jumps down the inside of turn 10. But now Goodbye has the inside line, but Creamy Jaws around the outside, as well as Heineken for the double overtake on Goodbye Biceps. We're going to switch over to Raven right now, who's coming out of the pit stop. Where does that face with some idiot? As this camera, there's Raven. There's some idiot side by side on the straight, but no can do. Some idiot 1 second behind of his rival, and Raven exits still in first. Wonderfully calculated by Raven.
And so the race begins.
The race does begin. Some idiot and Raven both pushing at the start. At the start of the stint, the medium tires are slow as snow, I must say. I was gonna say sludge. Let's just say sludge. They're sludgy at the start, so some idiot does have an advantage right now because these tires are up to temperature. As I was focusing on the midfield battle as Heineken and Creamy John switched positions. Some idiot, though, closing in on Raven. Will have the DRS advantage coming down this front straight. But Raven still holding the advantage going into the S's.
I don't think he can do it here. It's going to take a couple laps, I think, for some idiot. Now, also, we have seen some idiot actually stay behind, just not make the pass and try to save as much fuel as possible. And I like what Raven is doing if they're just trying to break up the slipstream a little bit, keep some idiot guessing, knowing these two love to battle. They love a good race, so you know they're smiling under those helmets. And it's only lap 17. That's the best part.
We might be in for an entire race of battling in the second half of this race, I must say. And don't remember the last six of this. The last six. I got caught up on words again. The last 6 laps. There we go. Of this race might be under rainy conditions. So some idiot knows this. He's the one who sent me the information saying around when the rain's going to come in. So he might be just trying to get as close to Raven as he can and just outmaneuver him in the wet weather, but still. Raven with the fastest lap, leading out some idiot in that gap.
Wait a minute. Fluffy Davis starting his march forward again. He's just nabbed 9th place from Goodbye. A beautiful pass up the inside, going around what looked like turn 8. Beautifully done, and Goodbye is just going to get left in the dust here. It looks like Fluffy Dave
just had a bit of corrections still.
Yeah, it looks like Fluffy Dave is definitely letting it hang out as he knows he needs to march up as far as he can to make sure that he secures 3rd place in the championship.
We're going to switch up to Creamy Johns and Heineken side by side out of turns 4 and 5. Creamy Johns up the inside. Heineken trying to go for a move around the outside. But Heineken and Creamy Johns still battling it out.
Ooh, that's close.
Heineken sitting on the back of Creamy Johns as they're flying through turns 8 and 9.
Heineken just kind of filling the mirrors a little bit. He definitely doesn't quite have a line here. Creamy John's doing all he can to take up as much room on the racetrack as possible, and that's a very thin area of the track. It's definitely tough to make a pass if you can't get the setup going. Really kind of at the beginning of the sector, if you will, as ACR Raven grabs another fastest lap.
That gap is definitely pulling away. He's already 2 seconds ahead of some idiot.
Should also note that Triton has picked up on, I believe that's his second penalty. Exceeding track limits, so that would be another 3 seconds added on to the tally. He's definitely got his work cut out for him if he wants to nab this third place, which has kind of eluded him most of these races. He's definitely showing a lot of speed, so the Tritonites got to be excited as this race wears on. Coming up here on halftime here pretty quick.
This is halftime. 18 laps remain.
Quick maths, you're correct.
I had 2 races of this. I kind of cheated with that. Now, all eyes are on some idiot, see if he can close that down, but Raven is just in control of this race with 2 seconds gap. So all eyes are on Raven to see if another penalty will ruin this race for him or a mistake. He has to keep it clean. He has to keep it on point. Because we've seen how many times this race has come down to the very last lap. Japan. Singapore.
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. We might have a pass here for 5th place. Heineken looking on the inside of Creamy Johns.
Big lockup from Heineken right there. A lot of smoke, but Creamy Johns is making his car wide. Has the advantage through Curva del Sol and at the end of the set of S. And Creamy Johns has the advantage, but now Heineken has DRS. He's sitting on the back wing, flinging down to the inside, but nothing he can do. Creamy Johns just had the speed out of Curva del Sol, and that was all he needed for it. Now Heineken looking for a little light down the inside of turn 6 and 7. And 8, but nothing he can do.
Yeah, no, you really can't make a pass there unless you have definitely set that one up.
Or are crazy.
Or are crazy, yeah. And Heineken, knowing this, is actually showing a lot of restraint here. There was a couple of points there where Creamy Johns was leaving a couple of doors open, but there just wasn't quite enough room on the inside. That could have turned into something nasty if Heineken got a little crazy with it. But Heineken's keeping his head on his shoulders. He's doing pretty good, I have to admit. This is a great race for 5th place.
A definite good race for 4th, because remember, the midfield battle is very close to this championship.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's all separated by just a few points, and any decent finish would propel you up the order. As Mancu's coming out of the pits, he's sitting 14th, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he started on the medium side. He's got a yellow flag at sector 2. Don't know what that is for. Who that is for? I think that might have been Pranky. I think it is Pranky. No, I'm not sure.
Also unsure. I'm taking a look at Jollyden. Jollyden just kind of hanging out here in 4th place. Not really under too much pressure at the moment. He's got a lot of space in front of him. So I think he's just going to try to hang on to this 4th place. So 4th place for him would be fantastic.
John would definitely love 4th. He would also love even more 3rd place. Yellow flag at sector 3, sectors 2 and 3. A lot of yellow flags in this race. No safety cars. And I see some VFCs pop out earlier today. Might have some of that as Heineken and Creamy Johns are continuing their battle. And look who's pop. No, never mind. Completely disregard that. That's a laps car.
So I think these yellow sectors are popping up mostly because these cars do need to slow down quite a bit. If you make a mistake going into, say, turn 8 or even turn 10, turn 12, things like that, you're going to see a couple of yellow flags because you're going to dip down below the speed threshold, if you will. So it doesn't really surprise me that there's some caution there. It's more or less just so you don't run into someone, I think. I'm still keeping an eye here on Creamy Johns and Heineken. This battle has been heating up for the last few laps, actually, and Heineken has kind of slotted in at this point. I think he's realized that it's not worth it to fry the tires, and if he knows that rain may or may not be coming, he might be betting on that, and he might be able to just stay out a little bit longer than Creamy Johns does, as I don't remember if we have seen really either of these races or racers in the rain too much. We've seen Raven and Some Idiot quite a bit, of course, but these two haven't really been huge players in the race, and Creamy John's actually picking up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, this is brutal.
That might be appealed at the very end of this race because I didn't see anything. His front tire just basically jumped over that curb, but that does pick over a penalty, and he does have this footage for that, but I am not sure. If you do have the footage, the POV footage, to prove it, you might have a chance of getting it repealed, but knowing Creamy Johns, he just goes with the flow and just takes it as it says. But that is very disastrous for Creamy Johns' race.
Raven has actually opened up the lead to Some Idiot by about 3 seconds. And I think Raven might be looking for a little bit of padding here. It's a good idea in case Raven does pick up a bit of a time penalty. He's been known to do that every once in a while, and it has bit him before. So having that 3-second time penalty, or that 3-second cushion, will gap it just fine and make Some Idiot start thinking about a couple of other things as well. That said, Some Idiot has 4-lap older tires on those mediums as well. So I have a feeling that Raven has kind of hit that sweet spot and is kind of staying in that, and Some Idiot starts falling off just a little bit.
Raven just passed a car on the outside that was crashing the wall. That was Pranky who's out of this race. 13 cars remain and may the odds be ever in your favor. Yes, I just said that.
Oh my god.
It was worth it.
Fair.
It was a setup. It was a setup.
I'll give you that. You know, I'm giving it to you, okay? You don't have to fight me on it.
We're the fastest lap.
Are we gonna have a pillow fight in the commentary booth? I mean, what?
Okay then. Not
Nothing?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say on that. Someone just tried to call me. Nope, denied.
Still Heineken and Creamy Johns duking it out. Not really too many other crazy races going on right now. Kane Jr. and Z3 might be.
I just had some information from someone's radio that says rain in 10 minutes. Now I know that Jeff is known to lie on how long 10 minutes is, but I was doing the math in my head. That's like in 6 laps.
That sounds about right then.
So there might be a bit of a scramble for intermediate tires at the end with 6 laps, and that'll be at lap 30 out of 36. Oh wait, I predicted that. But that's when the rain starts. Now when the DRS gets disabled, that is when it gets juicy, because it could be drizzly like we've seen in Russia the entire time. I'm not answering your call. Stop calling me. I don't know how you got my number. But in the last closing laps in Russia, it was raining and drizzly, but the DRS wasn't disabled. In this, it could come down as a Texas-sized race, or just immediately just throw the race on its head. So we'll all know what is going to happen very soon. As Atarium has left the session, he's one of the cars that has crashed out.
Yeah, he was.
Z3 Mikey Kane Jr. getting very dicey, but Mikey making it look very easy as he gets around Kane. Really get the overtake on him. Thought I was going to join in on a battle. Join in on the overtake.
Still Heineken and Creamy Johns very close together. Nothing really happening. Heineken has kind of backed off at this point, as Creamy Johns hasn't really opened it up too much, but he's just been holding steady more than anything else. And I think Heineken has decided that it's not worth it to battle at this point. Maybe wait until that rain comes, and that kind of is in line with what you said, Austin. if that announcement goes out from old Hef, then yeah, it'd be a good time to back off and start planning out your pit strategy.
If it's a reliable source, because I know from Formula Danny, who broken down this game like into codes and formulas and everything, that Jeff Wise, so he sometimes doesn't provide the right strategy on when to pit for the right tires. So it might not actually be coming in 10 minutes, but we'll see what happens. Around lap 29 and 30 is my prediction when the rain falls, if it falls.
So with clouds looming, Raven has opened up the lead to 4.5 seconds. Some idiot kind of more or less holding on at this point. He hasn't cranked up the car up all the way to full, but does have those older tires as well, so he might be just trying to save. If some idiot is sticking to the rain prediction, then that actually makes a lot of sense. Might be trying to undercut Raven, trying to keep the tire under him as much as he can, so that when it does start to fall, and if intermediates are needed, somebody might be able to just stay out there for at least another lap or so to just make sure that he might be able to close that up on Raven. That also comes down to Raven. If Raven is able to stay out deeper into the race, or even towards the end of the race, well, there you go. Mind games being played all over the place.
I must say this. There is also a completely crazy strategy of staying out on slicks in the rain.
Yeah.
Raven could go into the pits on the intermediate. Somebody can stay out on slicks and will have an advantage, but that advantage will be completely dependent on how long is left and how early Raven pits. Because Raven is putting himself up to risk for going into the pits in the first spot, but some idiot, he could go into, if Raven stays out, somebody could go into the pits and start trying to chase down Raven, who will be forced to stay on those slick tires because he'll be already losing time to the intermediate tires in that one lap that he stays out. So it all comes down on who's going to pit. If Raven pits first, as trying to gets all the curves and spins around, gets his car reset the track and almost comes smack face into Kane Jr. almost comes smack face into Heineken's. Oh, disaster for Heineken right there. We were watching a good battle.
Well, there goes that.
Enjoy the gaps. But yeah, as we were saying, some idiot, if Raven pits, some idiot would need to stay out for any chance to win this. If some idiot pits, Raven, well, he will be staying out if some idiot goes into the pits, and that would just be all in Raven's hands. It'll be in Raven's hands both ways, because Raven needs to close in on some idiot, but it's also in some idiot's hands as well, since he'll be in the lead. And if some idiot and Raven both pit at the same time, it'll just be a closing sprint showdown.
Pretty
while
much,
they're separated by 5 seconds in. As the lap counter hits lap 30, this is where the rain is supposed to fall.
It is looking pretty dark and spooky out there, let's face it. And some idiot definitely looking for some rain at this point. It's looking a little sketchy on those tires. He has been losing time to Raven fairly steadily. Gap is now up to 5.1 seconds, give or take. And Triton has also been losing a little bit of time as well, even to some idiot. But Triton sitting third. Rejoice, Tritonites. That is not a bad run all around, at least so far. 6 to go, though. And Raven is looking pretty solid. I believe this would lock in the championship heading into Abu Dhabi.
Oh, this would definitely clinch the championship here today. Separation between first and second. I did my research this time, and I did my math before the stream. Is 7 points. And
Yep,
Raven just needed 5.
Correct. Okay, yeah. I just want to confirm all that before we start saying, official stuff and things.
Yes.
We like to include things.
Things are fun to
stuff.
include, though.
And stuff.
Stuff is also fun to include. On lap 31, the rain is not falling down, so was that rain a bit of a spook spell, or have we been hyping up for a finish that we really wanted to see?
I think Senior Hef, I think he lied to us again.
Dang it, Jeff. Really couldn't say that because my dad's name is Jeff, so...
Yeah, don't say it too loud. That was weird. I just saw some idiot's fuel light come on.
Is he having fuel problems?
Well, I just saw it pop on as he went into a corner, so I think maybe he's just running on the ragged edge a little bit.
We're on board with Fluffy Dave and Tezu. Fluffy Dave, challenging for P7, has had the worst race of his life, I must say. Started this race immediately into the back, climbed up back again, caught into a 4-car collision. Just had no break, this guy.
Oh.
And Fluffy Dave dives it up the inside on Tezu, coming down the straight, DRS wide open, and Fluffy Dave making it look easy.
That
P7.
beautiful flick going into turn 4 was absolutely fantastic. And I'm sorry, but is that track looking a little damp?
It's grayer.
Yes.
It's darker. But I don't see any water falling out of the sky. The water's still in the clouds. Just like all my photos and data. Yeah, that was a miss.
And now we know how to hack Austin.
No?
What?
Huh? It's in the
Nothing?
cloud.
God.
That was the joke.
There it is.
But as more laps tick down, Fluffy Dave, he's been on these tires for 23 laps.
Yeah. It's been holding pretty steady all the way around this course. Got tangled up a little bit, but he managed to make sure that he didn't get any damage somehow. And 7th place for him would be very respectable after a disastrous first turn, literally.
I was just looking up into the sky outside the commentary box. The rain is falling down, ladies and gentlemen. 3 laps to go. Well, 4 laps to go.
So who's going to blink first? And honestly, at this point, you might as well just stay out.
Yeah,
and
I don't
stick it on the racing line as much as you can, especially with this such a short time left. Not to mention, these mediums are already pretty much worn out. You're already trying to save it anyways. It's just a matter of who can keep that right foot in control. And now that the track will start to get a little bit more slippery, who can keep the left foot under control as well.
Now, it all comes down. Can Raven keep his car control in the wet better this minute? Because I know it's all about that car control, but he's going to have obstacles all around him. Both these guys, lapped cars, themselves, low grip, spin outs, back end flicking out, everything. Anything that you can list of things going wrong, they will probably go wrong for both of these guys.
The same really goes for Triton as well. Triton, the least experienced of the top 3 runners at this point. I'm definitely not going to cast or curse him or anything, but I will be keeping an eye on him. This is a great test for just how good Triton is at this particular point in his career, coming up on the last race of the AOR season. And I'll tell you what, he is looking fantastic.
He is definitely looking fantastic, Triton. And his fans, the Tritonites, definitely a wonder to just meet, talk along, and just watch them support him in the chat. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's all right.
But yeah, back to the focus. I'm keeping my cameras on Raven because it's all in his hands with 3 laps to go. Coming up to 2 laps to go. So he's got just a few more times around this straight, but this is where the track is at its most treacherous, as I can say, Max Verstappen losing it right here. But that was in like heavy rain situations.
Yeah, you're at full speed, you got full throttle going, yeah. It's definitely treacherous. It's treacherous no matter what. You can even just mess up on that pit lane transition right there. I've done that before, don't ask me how I did it, but I did it. And then out of nowhere, you're getting creamed in the side. But the gap between everyone in this particular field, I don't think that's really going to happen much. As everybody's kind of backed off, I think they realize that rain is definitely coming, so they want to make sure that they will not take anyone else out.
It's already here, and it's just everyone keeping their cars.
Just
cars in control.
Okay.
Raven is leading out some idiot. He's actually increasing that gap, so Raven, knowing the wet weather around this track, is not that treacherous. But has stopped his pushing. Like most of somebody is definitely struggling on these 23 lap old tires right now. And Raven being on these tires for 19 laps, he will definitely have more grip than some idiot. But with coming up on 1 lap to go, I don't want to say it right now, but I think I'm going to have to. I think it's certain that it might happen. You know, in Singapore, when you said some idiot is like, it was a battle between good versus evil. Did you say some idiot was like Darth Vader?
I think I did.
Okay, it's gonna be very nerdy, but I think they're doing a little trench run right now, and I think Luke has just turned off his targeting computer.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I'm a nerd. Deal with it.
So Raven making his way around the track for the final time. All he has to do is complete this lap, and he will have secured the championship for the inaugural season here in the Americas at AOR. A fantastic run it has been. Somebody has definitely challenged him throughout the way. So Raven just picking his way around the course at this point through turn 10. Nice and easy. You can tell he's not pushing at all. He's got plenty of gap here. And for the last team comes through Junsao. Up through 13 and 14. Just has to put the hammer down. He's going to finish the lap. Full ERS at full speed, or at least the fastest that he can go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
ACR Raven takes the win. And
the championship of the inaugural America's League. Season 1. What a drive Raven has had throughout the series. Started with accidents all over the place at the start of the season with his Ferrari teammate who got axed from the team. They brought in Creamy Johns later on in the season, but it is Raven taking the championship. Some idiot providing a much hard battle, but it is Raven taking the #1 spot. The gap of 27 points separate them as they go into Abu Dhabi. It is clinched. It is final. Raven holds the title.
Somebody taking second place, and still a couple of people trying to finish here. As I think that was Fluffy Dave. Tezu coming around the final corner as well.
Oh, Dave's crashed.
Dave crashed?
Yeah, he's crashed on the straight. And Tezu gets ahead of Dave, and Dave is just spun on the straight.
Oh, he's trying to get going.
Did he get a puncture?
Yeah, he's got a puncture.
Well,
he's trying to get this thing going.
His car is doing some weird things right now.
He's got suspension damage.
Yeah, he does have a puncture. He does have a puncture back left. I saw somebody... Okay, no, his car is doing some weird things. Okay, back to congratulating Raven.
No, he's underway. Fluffy Dave is underway. He's just got to finish the race.
Well, the massive train of cars is just closing in on him because they're all out of fuel. But Raven missed a hand up in victory as Fluffy Dave finally gets his car back out. A way to finish out a very unceremonious Grand Prix for him, but taking the championship and taking the win, it is Raven. I'm just gonna let the celebration go on. Like, not even gonna say anything about it.
Hard fought by both Raven and Some Idiot. The lowest that Raven finished throughout the season so far is a 3rd place. Some Idiot had a DNF round 5. And that might have been the one that did him in at this point. Took a 4th place at the round after that. Other than that, it was Raven and Some Idiot swapping positions all season. And this time, a Raven comes out on top.
And here are your finish results. It's Raven taking the win, Some Idiot in 2nd, Triton in 3rd, Jallydon in 4th, followed by Creamy Johns, Heineken, Tezu, Fluffy Dave, Goodbye, Max KZR Racing, Z3 Mikey, Kane Jr., Mancu, Pranky, Intergalactic Gentleman, Italy Force, Ocampu, Lugquist Bro, Natarium, and James McGrath come up at the end. And what a race, what a season. We'll be right back in the commentary booth, in the interview box, with Raven, Some Idiot, and Triton. Hello everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed that race. We are sitting in the interview booth with Raven, Triton, and Some Idiot. I'm actually going to drag down Jalidon in here because he's having a good race. And so let's start it. Let's start it with Jalidon. Jalidon, how was that race?
That was pretty good. Had to hold Fluffy Dave and Creamy John's behind me the whole race, but other than that, we're trying to get towards a podium slowly.
Well, you got one more in this inaugural season. Are you hoping for anything to close up? Are you hoping for anything in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, love to have a good, clean race up with the front three. Hopefully I can get a little bit of pace because I'm still a couple tenths off qualifying and on the race pace. So got a little bit to find yet, but I'm hopeful I can get there.
All right, let's go over to Mr. Third Place, Triton. The Tritonites seemed happy with that performance. How was that?
I think this is the first time you'll ever hear me say it, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not upset, but I'm not happy per se this time around because the quali lap actually like surprised me, and I was really, I guess, surprised by the pace there, even though I didn't really do too much practice for this. And off the start, I kind of just goofed it, and I kind of messed up when Some Idiot went into the pits and lost a lot of time. So it was sloppy from me, so I'm not going to be like, oh, it's okay, P3. Like, now I'm kind of looking to improve myself where I can, I guess. And yeah, so hopefully next time I can win or something. But yeah.
There's always room for next time. But for Some Idiot, it's more like next season for you. Some Idiot, how was that race? Any thoughts on the championship? Anything you want to say to Raven?
All I can say is congratulations. I gave it all I had. I really did. There may be some unfortunate stuff happened early in the season, but I gave it all I had. I can say that. If you would have told me I would have been still in chance for a championship with 2 races to go, I probably wouldn't have believed you at the start of the season. So, looking at that, it's like I literally leaps and bounds over whatever I expected. I never expected to be fighting anywhere close to the front, but sure as that could happen. Yeah, gave it all I had. I'll try to give us a show in Abu Dhabi. I'm going to start at the back for Abu Dhabi.
Meister.
But yeah, congrats to Raven. Deserves it. Well faster than me this whole season. He deserves it.
Yeah, congrats, Raven. Congrats, I'll say it here. And congrats to Some Idiot as well for all his pace and all his fighting. So.
All right, well, let's talk to the champ himself. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. Raven, congrats for winning the inaugural America's Championship. How are you feeling?
Just overcome with not really emotion, but just relief. I mean, just hell yes. I mean, it's just there's been a lot of stress, just personal life, trying to balance that with, practicing for the races and in the last couple weeks. And, Some Idiot, I got to give it up to him. He's a hell of a competitor. And, I appreciate the battle and the respect that we showed throughout the season. And, yeah, it was definitely a fun battle, almost all the way to the very end. But I just got to give a shout out to not really wanting to name drop any particular people, but you guys know who you are. I had a lot of help in the background, sort of just finishing off these last couple races, and I mean, I'm just so relieved and can actually go into the race next Sunday and just try to actually 100%, have fun, which is really what it should be all the time. But I did enjoy today. It was a risky gamble. I didn't get the best lap in on the softs, and probably should have got pole on the super soft attempt a little bit earlier in Q, but the race went about as perfect as I could have imagined. So yeah, just really happy and really relieved.
Was the rain providing any of you guys trouble at the ending stages, or was it just a flash in the pan?
It's just there, make everything a little bit more difficult to drive. I was already on dead tires by the end, so I was just trying to hang on to her. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to come down a lot harder. I was hoping. Like, lap 25, just pour it down, please.
Creamy had a penalty behind me, and I think I lost 3 or 4 seconds the last couple laps, but didn't really worry too much about it.
All right, Ninja, anything you want to say?
I think you covered it. I was going to ask about the rain as well. It seems like you guys had a little bit of fun out there. Only 13 finishers, so it was definitely a tough race, and so well done. And can't wait to see you guys in Abu Dhabi.
We'll try to put on a show.
Always put on a show is always the mindset here. And thank you for all the supporters in chat. Thank you everyone who turns up day in, day out throughout this very long American season. And I'm just looking forward to Abu Dhabi. I probably won't be in the commentary box because I'll be up in Austin for the Indy race, doing some stuff over there. So keep your eyes peeled for that weekend.
You'll have me alone. Oh boy.
I may hop in from my phone.
Might. You're going to be on your really poor quality phone or something like that.
I may pop in.
Can't even see the action. You're just talking blind.
Yeah.
Might do as good as Sky then.
All right. Good old banter. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Ninja, for the great joining me in co-commentary. And thank you to everybody. My name's Austin Knight, and I hope you guys have a good night.